for the Sunday evening spectacular here on Midnight Movie Talk. Tonight, we are going to get into Christopher Nolan's casting decisions for the Odyssey. A lot of people are pissed off. We'll debate it. You'll come in with your comments, and we'll get to it here in a moment. Also, the live MMT of a film you probably haven't heard of. A city in Nebraska. It's Omaha. That is on the way. But I want to start tonight with great news for theatrical. Movie theaters are in a really sweet spot right now because you've got so many films coming in and doing really strong business. And, you know, you talk about where this all started. I think you don't understand the importance of Michael. You know, you're discussing a film in Michael that brought a lot of people back to the movies that had not been there in a substantial amount of time, you know, like a Top Gun Maverick. You had the old folks coming back to the movie theaters. And what that does is that rekindles the interest in going to the movies that we have lost, right? I mean, when we were kids, well, some of you remember going to the movies every weekend. It was just a thing you did with your friends. I mean, it was part of the everyday actions and activities that we did. And it's not that way anymore. You know, there's so many options and so many things that you can pick from, and movies have fallen in the cultural significance compared to where they were, obviously, in the past. And again, back to me being a Gen Xer and going to the movies every weekend with my buddies. So when you talk about Michael, it really did get people back. And that is still occurring here with a film that's over $500 million now worldwide. But you're also looking at a Devil Wears Prada. It's over $400 million worldwide. You're talking about a Mortal Kombat 2 that is $40 million this weekend. The Sheep Detective is at essentially $16 million. You know, this is what's happening, is that you've got this real diverse slate of films, and it's bringing all kinds of different people to the multiplex, and you really don't have, like, you know, that 4-quad tent pole. It's films that we have seen kind of struggle come in now and do better. And that's a sign of overall health when it comes to movie theaters and the economy being as bad as it is. This is even more of a testament to where we're headed here in the summer, because as you guys know, we're not even at summer. We are still in early to mid-May. So as we get further into summer, you're going to get into those films that we'll discuss here in a few minutes. An Odyssey. You talk about Spider-Man. You talk about Toy Story 5. You talk about films that are going to be bigger. So if we're doing the business now, that sets everything up for what's going to happen here in just a few weeks when we get into overall summertime and when movie going hits its peak outside of the Christmas corridor. As you guys know, look here over my shoulder. This weekend, the overall total 3-day domestic box office is $162 million. And that's up 89% versus the same weekend a year ago. 89%. Okay? And year to date, we're now up 16% versus last year. And this is with the economy the way it is, with gas prices at $6 a gallon here in Los Angeles. So if we're doing it now with what's going on, then we are, again, in a great spot headed into the bulk of the summertime releases and the biggest films yet to come. But don't discount a Michael. You know, as I go here and I look at what we have here on the worldwide, because this morning, as you guys know, I had no StreamYard. So you guys are like, what's up with the graphics? It looks really basic here at MMT. Listen, I have to have my graphics package, and it's run through a program called StreamYard. And look, nobody uses that app/site better than me. Look at this, guys. Come on now. Tonight, you've got the perfect kit matching the wonderful decor, okay? All this created by yours truly. Not just the actual content on the channel, but the actual physical look of everything. That's why you need to give me a like right now. We're the gold standard for a reason across every single metric, okay? Not only can the vast majority of film critics not hang with us in a one-on-one situation when it comes to evaluating films, they certainly can't hang with us in a design grind contest, in a being in shape, wearing football kit contest. These people are behind me in every single possible thing you could even dream up in your head. That is how we roll here, and it makes them even angrier. And for that, we will continue to drag them harder and harder because they know at the end of the day, it's not a competition. And you can see here over my shoulder, there is your top 10 global box office. Quickly, let's go through this. Then we'll get to Nolan and the Odyssey and Lupita and Elliot Page. And oh man, what a mess. Let's talk. Number one was Devil Wears Prada, globally now at $433 million. Michael is now at 577 and climbing quickly after a weekend of basically 100 million again this weekend, as that thing continues to hold strong. And look, a complete repudiation of critics. They look even dumber than they did when this film hadn't even dropped. I told you this would happen, and look what's happened. Again, man, I'm telling you, I really should be on one of those prediction market sites because I call this stuff before. If you want to make money, just watch what I do and then just see what happens here in a few days or weeks, because I'm always on top of it. We're on the vanguard. We are 100% over the target 99% of the time. Number three is Mortal Kombat. Did not come in as high as it should at $63 million. And the overseas cash was only 23, 40 plus 23, 63. That's an $80 million film. It'll be lucky to break even because it's going to drop off hard. Okay, just watch. It will. I like the film. Go back and watch our evaluation from Thursday. Sheep Detectives at $28 million worldwide. Pretty expensive film, over $70 million to produce. So that'll be a little dicey as far as getting the money back. But again, I think I even like that film coming in at doing a $15.9 million and taking advantage of the fact that Super Mario Galaxy at number 5 is starting to drop off, and it's at $941 million. So we're almost at $1 billion. Does it get there? To be close if it does. We talked about it. It'd be very, very tight up against that. If it gets there, it's $1 billion and $1. Okay, Billie Eilish is no Taylor Swift at number 6 as she debuts with 20 million worldwide. Again, he's talking about the difference between Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish, and it's just night and day. I mean, there's no one that can match Taylor Swift and the Eras Tour. That whole thing was just completely mayhem, right? That was such a huge film and really a cultural moment. And I think Billie Eilish just isn't that. It's just clearly, you can see here in the numbers. Project Hail Mary is now up to $655 million. We called that at $500 million way before it opened. So look, we're at 600 plus. Not surprising. I had a feeling it would happen, even though we guys know not a huge fan of that film. And then the other three, 7, make that 8, 9, 10. Those are Chinese films, so we'll just skip those. But you can see there's the global box office roundup here on this Sunday night. But I think it's important that we get into that. And I think you really look at again where we are in the basic standing here going into summer. It's just couldn't ask for it to be in a better spot. Let's do this. Our big story here tonight. It's Odyssey. And it is the casting questions. And I think, when you look at this, it's a legitimate gripe. Okay, you guys, listen. You guys know that I do not try to go too hard right, too hard left. I try to be as objective as possible. But I've got to look at all the information and then say, here's where I stand. Okay, now, here's what I'm going to tell you is, if in Odyssey, and clearly you guys know, in the actual original writings, it is listed as Queen Helen is fair-skinned, all that. We'll get into in a second. And if you're going to go ahead and switch that, okay, how many times, before I get into this, I know a lot of you are probably going to be with me, and you should be. You should be with me on this. It's not that we don't like Lupita Nyong'o. It's that we have seen so many times, and this is what I do not like. You guys know I cannot stand agendas. If you have an agenda, I despise you. I don't care which way you go. If you have an agenda, I have no use for you in my life. I have none. I don't want to hear from you. I have no interest in you because you are pushing something and you are biased and you are, corrupt, essentially. And I think the point here is that when you look at this situation, and let's get into it because Elon Musk was pissed off, and I'll read you all the details in case you haven't heard about this. But here's what I'm going to tell you is, if you're going to get selectively outraged here, you need to be selectively outraged there. You cannot just all of a sudden say, this is bothering me, but not that. They're the same thing, right? How many times have we seen someone get cast in a film and they're like, well, she's not Latino, so we have to get a Latino. So hold on. If the story says fair-skinned, and basically essentially saying a white person, and you race swap that, then Of course, you're going to be able to make that argument. That's the thing. But these people, I'm telling you, man, they're so unfair. They are just completely, again, corrupt. They are corrupt. It is legit. If you are not understanding this, and then here's the problem. As I bring this in here, is guess what's the first thing that typically the hard left, listen, I told you guys, the hard left needs to be thrown in the trash. They are literally people that are so far left. I'm telling you, man, you are, as we used to say as kids, wackadoodle. You need to adjust. You need to slide, as we say. You need to just modulate slightly more to the center. It's just too far, okay? And you know, same thing for far right, but it's typically the far left, okay? Let's just be real. It's typically the far left that is really out there and doing stuff that's just like, what are we talking about here? Stop trying to make the stuff that is so far outside the norm. Don't do that. Again, you have an agenda. I don't want you to come into my world with an agenda. Don't do that. If you have something you like, go for it. Awesome. But don't make me have to say that what you are doing is okay. It's perfect. We love you. There's nothing wrong. No, I can judge you all I want. You can judge me. I don't care. I'm not thin-skinned. I wasn't raised that way. Gen X, we were raised as essentially wolves. Okay, go out and play and we'll ring the dinner bell at some point and you all come in. That's how we were raised. And we beat each other up. We said mean things to each other, and we're all here. We're all still going. Gen X, the best generation of them all. And this is another reason why we're the gold standard, because you can't do this stuff and not have lived kind of the life that I lived. You have to experience it, and I think that's what we bring to the table better than anybody else. It's just a very unique view on all these topics in a very fair, objective. I always go back to the fact, listen, man, I talked about this before. I'm a Libra. What is a Libra? Balanced scales. 100% how I operate. I have to be balanced, and then I go. Let's get into what happened here. I know it's a long-winded intro, but I'm just telling you, it's just where I'm going to go with this, because you can tell I can't stand the people that come out, and guess what's going to happen? Racist. You're racist, because you know what? Listen, okay, let me explain this to you. I'm going to make this very clear to you. If you're going to say that, I need you to leave, and I need you to know. I need you to really understand this. You're an awful human being, like literally an awful person, and you need to own that. And just, look in the mirror and say I'm an awful person. Like, I'm good with that. Like, you have to at least own it, admit it. And if you're going to be that way, then just know that you're warped. You really are. You're really messed up. I mean, I can't even put it any other way. We are talking about a legitimate gripe. Okay, it is 100% fair for Elon Musk to say what's going on here when you are going to cast somebody, Lupita Nyong'o, who is not as written in what the source material is here as looking like what we end up with, the casting decision. So look here. He says Christopher Nolan has lost his integrity. Let's go to the actual tweet and then get the response. Here we go. So this is from Vittorio on Twitter. And this is forever ago, okay? But it's now really coming up because of Elliot Page. We're going to get to that in a second. But you look here, and it says here, Helena Troy was fair-skinned, blonde, a face that launched 1,000 ships because she was so beautiful, the men started a war over here, okay? So here's the deal. Fair-skinned, blonde, okay? Lupita Nyong'o, not fair-skinned, not blonde. Fair? Just tell me if I'm wrong. Come in the comments, tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me. I don't think I am, but I'm just saying. Okay. Casting choices that make the premise incoherent are admissions that the story was never the point and an insult to the author. Okay. I'm just going to talk about the fact that, forget all that. That's kind of, putting your opinion in there. If in this, Helena Troy was fair-skinned, blonde, is it fair to say that this is not a match as far as that? And how many times have we seen people get pissed off and say, this isn't how it looks, and you got to step down? So if you're going to play that game, and you have, some of you have played that game, you've got to play it here. But you're not going to. Because, again, racist. Really? No. We're pointing out a fact. These are facts. These are not opinions that if in the source material it lists it and it is written that way, there you go. Okay? And then he says Chris Nolan has lost his integrity. Okay? So that's number one. Okay? This is a problem. Let me tell you why this is all a big deal. Okay? So, no matter how you feel about this, what you need to understand, and what we always talk about when we talk about actors inserting their political opinions into things, you don't want to do that because your marketplace is essentially very vast, very wide, and very diverse. So what you want to do is you want to try to appeal to everyone and not piss anyone off, okay? Now, you don't want to go too far one way or another, because at some point, like we talk about all the time, if someone's going to come at me with some kind of bullshit outrage that I don't care about, you dismiss it, okay? And you got to be strong at that way. And you look at a Christopher Nolan. If Christopher Nolan can't handle it, who can? You go back to what Cameron was talking about when the Fox executive came to him and said, you got to make this movie shorter. And he's like, fuck you, get out of here. Okay, Chris Nolan, if he can't tell someone at Universal that, listen, if you want to inject here, race here, I don't feel comfortable with that. I don't want to do it. You don't think Chris Nolan could get that done? You don't think he could say that? Again, it's not saying you don't want to have diversity in your film. If the source material is listed as exactly what the character is, you need to follow that. If you're going to appease largely the fan base, all right, if you're going to, no matter what it is, it could be a comic movie, it could be anything, okay? I just don't want to have a segment of my population saying, I'm not going to go see this. And that's exactly what's happening right now when you throw in Elliot Page, who apparently is rumored to be playing Achilles, okay? As you guys know, Brad Pitt played Achilles in Troy back in 2004. A really entertaining film, right? Just a popcorn version of it. I'm not saying it's the best film ever made, but it certainly is enjoyable. And you look back at the scene from Brad Pitt, right? Go back and remember. We'll look at this real quick, and then we'll get into some comments here. This is Brad Pitt as Achilles. If you've never seen Troy, wow, he's so good. He's so just nasty in this film, which is exactly what Achilles should be. Here is how he dispatches this big son of a bitch who's like 4 times bigger than him. Right? The walk-off's amazing. And there's more here as he takes on Erick Bana and all that. So this is, if you haven't seen it, great. And by the way, decent physique. I mean, listen, he's not Weber, but I mean, he looks pretty good here. Yeah, baby. But you understand why people are going, wait a second. This is Achilles in 2004. Why in 2026 is it possibly going to be Elliot Page? You understand that. You have to understand that. You've got to get that, okay? And listen, Achilles is a fierce warrior. No matter how you read it, that is exactly what. And the last thing I think of when I think of Achilles and I think of Elliot Page as fierce warrior, would you? That's fair. Don't tell me that's not fair. Don't. If you don't think that's fair, I'm telling you again, you have an agenda. You are corrupt. You are not trustworthy. You're just not. Because what I just said is 100% fair. And you guys know I'm right. Right? 100%. So here's the thing. So why do you not understand? How do you not understand how this is a legitimate gripe on both of these fronts? They are. Both of these things are. Okay? 100% iconic, right? Satvik. I mean, I remember this from 2004. I've seen the movie since 2004. But we all saw it in the movie theaters because that's when movies were still going off. Late 90s, early 2000s, still everyone would go in the multiplex on the weekend. This is what we did. We didn't have streaming yet. I mean, what, was YouTube even around in 2004? If it was like really low, right? It's like the basic shit, not like it is now, okay? So you look at it and the thing that drives me crazy is the left's, and it is the left's inability to own the fact that they are purposely not understanding the outrage from people who are like, what are we doing with Elliot Page as possibly Achilles? Do you understand? At least say, I just want to push a transgender man, right? Is that correct? I believe that's correct. That's how, or man, listen, we're not getting into that debate. I'm just going to say, if that's what you want to do, at least say that, right? That's the thing. Don't go, oh, it's not a big deal. Say, I want to see this inserted into my films. And here's the deal, right? I'm not the anti-woke guy, but I am the anti-agenda guy. And that kind of, they dovetail, right? I don't like an agenda in anything. Okay, I need you to be objective and fair. If you're not going to be objective and fair, then I don't have use for you again, and you are untrustworthy, you're corrupt, and useless. You really are useless. I need you to always say, do you understand what we're talking about? Is it fair? And I think everything I said here tonight's fair, and you know it. You 100% know it. Now, did I say at any point that because Lupita Nyong'o is going to be Helen, or if Elliot Page is going to be Achilles, that we can't watch the Odyssey, none of you should see it? But that's the thing, bringing it back to why I say this matters, because now you have a significant portion of certainly X that is pissed off and going, I'm not going to see the Odyssey. Now, whether they follow through with that, I don't know. We still got a couple months till it opens, right? 9 weeks, okay? When you look at it, there's time, but here again, what do I talk about? You go back and you look at any actor who opens his mouth and starts going off on political shit when they need to stay out of it. It's this. I don't need that. I need to make my movie make cash. I don't need you to start talking about politics when you're only going to alienate a significant portion of my possible audience. You can't have that. And over, we see it happen. And now with Nolan, with Nyong'o, already started. And now if it's Elliot Page, now you've done it again. I just don't know why. And I know, let's also talk about this. We have not talked about this. The Academy has its new rules where if, it just started in 2025, by the way, if you're asking how, when you look at Oppenheimer, how did that win? Those rules had not been installed yet by the Academy, the DEI requirements, okay? Essentially, there's like 4 different things. I'll give you the most basic version of this. Number 1 is in your film, you must have a lead or supporting that is a minority, that is non-white, okay? You have to have that. Or box 2, you have to have a significant portion of your crew or your publicist, or right, it's different things, okay? But if you go by, let's get number 1 done, then you have to have someone at a significant lead or supporting, check a box. And right there, and this is why the Academy becomes more and more useless by the second, they continually just become just useless. I mean, again, I can't even tell you how much that whole thing has been devalued over the past 5 years. You look at Oscars ratings, you look at Oscars interest, you look at Oscars, just the overall impact of it, it just is so much less than it used to be because of things like this. I don't want anything to ever go through the lens of, listen, we have to have this, and this, or it's not. No. You're not doing that. And if I'm a director and someone at a studio says, listen, you have too wide a cast, you have too diverse a cast, that's never going to happen. But I'm going to say, listen, man, I'm not making the movie then. I'm out. Like, I'm out. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to bend to your whims because you need to make sure that you assuage this person and that person. And you, no. We're not doing this shit. And that's the thing. We have to start pushing back against this. And you guys know, I think DEI is one of the worst things ever created because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters in this world is merit. If you don't bring it to the plate every single time that you step up to the batter's box, if you don't have it, if you don't deliver it, then you don't deserve a spot at the table. I don't care what the color of your skin is. I don't care where you grew up. I don't care if you're rich or poor. It doesn't matter. Are you good? That's it. It is a merit-based system. And you're going to say, well, that's subjective. No, it's not. You guys know that. How many times you watch a movie or you watch someone, you're like, how the hell is this person here? They're not good. Like, bad actor, okay? I was watching Mortal Kombat 2 the other day, and I didn't see Mortal Kombat 1, remember? One of the actors is terrible, right? One of the Asian leads. One of the Asian guys. Apparently, he was like the main dude in number 1. I'm like, my God, this guy's bad. And I didn't see 1. I'm like, this guy's bad. You got to just say, cut it. You can't have it. I go back to when I was a PA, okay, a production assistant, back on a show from Burlstein Gray, which is a major production company back in the 90s, right? Bernie Burlstein and Brad Gray, who went on to Paramount. Okay, so I worked on the Jeff Foxworthy show, and then Just Shoot Me. You guys remember Just Shoot Me with Laura San Giacomo? So I was on that show as a PA, and it was like the pilot episode, and they had the initial, like, they were going to shoot that night, right? They did all the, work up. They got to the actual night, and they had an audience in there, and they started to shoot the pilot episode, and they had her assistant. I want to say her assistant was there, whoever her friend was, whatever. Lord San Giacomo's assistant friend. And they literally all of a sudden stopped taping, and everyone got together in a group. And they all had a discussion. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because I'm like a kid out of college, like on the set going, what's happening? They literally got rid of the actress in the middle of the episode. They said, she's not working, get her out of here. And I feel like we need to do more of that, right? We need to, because again, if it's not working, cut bait. Now the problem is, and you go back and look, I'm drawing in all kinds of stuff tonight. This is what happens when I go live. All of a sudden, I just feel these things coming in, and I go, let's go here, let's go here. Here's the deal. You go back to, did you guys ever see the card counter? Or the card, what was it? Not the card counter. What the fuck was the one, right? With Oscar Isaac. Okay? If you haven't seen that film, I think it was the card counter, wasn't it? The card something. Help me out. Okay, if you haven't seen that film, I need you to watch it. Because there is a certain someone who wrecks that film. Like every time that this person's in the scene, you're like, oh my God, the movie's horrible. And you felt terrible for Oscar Isaac. We needed to have a Just Shoot Me, right? Where everyone gets together and goes, get rid of that person, they're out. The problem is it was dealing with a DEI situation. You're dealing with a touchy situation because of race. Listen, it's never about race. It's about merit. So if you're getting fired and I'm the guy who's firing you, it has nothing to do with color of your skin. It has to do with your ability to do something. You're gone because you're not good. It's not you're gone because you're of this race, you see? But again, what will happen with typically the left, look, racist, because it's just like, here's your firebomb. Let's just throw it out there. Molotov cocktail, you're racist. Again, you're a terrible person. Look in the mirror and just say it. Tonight, affirmation. Look in the mirror deep with those eyes and say, I'm a horrible person. As soon as you start throwing around racism, just know that. You're terrible. So the rest of us will just make the decision based on merit, but that comes into it too. And let's face facts too. You don't want lawsuits. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. But at the end of the day, I can't believe Christopher Nolan wasn't able to say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a movie with these people and this is what I'm going to do. Look at Oppenheimer. He did it then. Was it the Academy? In all these new requirements? Because now that's taken hold. Now that is in. Before it wasn't. So now that it is he now being forced to, I have to do this or I'm not going to get an Oscar nomination? I don't know. We don't know. Christopher Nolan's not going to answer that. Universal's not going to answer that. But it's a legitimate question because if that's happening, then we got to get rid of that. It's got to go. And the reality is, though, the Academy's not going to. And the problem with this town, and listen, you know it and I know it. And I'm not even the guy, but I'm going to tell you right now, you know the problem. Hollywood is virtue signaling, extremely woke. It's just the reality of it. And what does woke mean? Woke means we're going to push agendas. We're going to push DEI. We're going to make sure that we have representation across the board. No, we're not. We're going to get merit. You're out because you're bad. You're the good or you're bad. It's that simple. Not the color of your skin. You're good or you're bad. You bring it or you don't. And that's it. There's nothing more to add. And until you get that way and you get just completely, I'm not going to answer these questions. We're not playing this game. And I wish I could step in front of a mic because I would literally step up and give him the speech because, guys, we're not playing this game. So I don't know you from the rap, okay, with your 3 strands of hair. We're not playing this game, okay? And I've said it before. You need to worry about the 3 strands of hair you have on your head, not pushing your agenda, okay? Because at some point, there's going to be 2 strands, and then everyone's really going to know you're bald. They don't know you're bald right now with 3 strands. They just think that maybe that 3rd strand is saving you from not being totally bald. I got to rail on 3 strands of hair rap guy all the time. I'll do it all the time. You're insignificant. I bury you every day. That's the fun part of the stream. I'll do it whenever I want. I'll pull it out of the air and we'll rail on you. That's what I do. But you go back and we need to have more of that. We've got to have more of a no nonsense. This is what we're doing. And you go back to, and I say this all the time, I know this pisses people off, but I'm going to explain it like I always do. We've got to get back to someone at a studio who is able to control this shit at a level of a Harvey Weinstein. Not the Harvey Weinstein who is an awful, terrible, garbage human being, but the ability of saying, here's how we're going to do it, and you're going to do it my way. We don't have that anymore. We have this whole, we've got to have everybody in on this meeting. No, you don't. You need someone who knows what they're doing and has a very distinct vision. And I don't care what anyone says, we're going forward with this. And, you talk about a Donald Trump, right? A lot of you are like, oh my God, Trump's the worst. Let me tell you one thing he does. I say it all the time on this. He says what he does, and he finishes. He goes through with it. He does not say, I'm going to do this and doesn't do it. You got to have that kind of person in a leadership position at a studio, okay? And I'm not saying, dude, I hate a lot of the shit Donald Trump. The fact that we're at war over in Iran and we're all paying $6 in gas and everything's just, inflation's through the roof. No one can argue that these decisions, he can talk all he wants about it's the right decision. Let me tell you, right now it doesn't look like it. And I don't want to have, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, I don't want to send anyone over there. No troops, no nothing. We're not going to fucking war for any of these motherfucking countries outside of the United States anymore. Not happening, okay? It's not happening. It's very simple. This is not happening. So, that's the thing is, right? So as much as I just said, here's Trump doing this, if they even think we're going to draw into a war over there, you got no chance. I got to tell you this. It's a zero. I'll be in the streets, and I'm not even the guy. I will be in the streets. We're not doing this, okay? We're not doing another Vietnam. We're not doing that. It's not going to happen. And we have to be able as a society, going back to what I said about taking a stand, we got to be able to say no. You talk about, you bring in the hantavirus, right? Talk about all this shit that's coming back. Let me tell you something. You just say no. We're not doing it this time. The answer is no. You've got to be firm, okay? And I know this is now we're drawing a bigger picture here, but the point is that at the end of the day, I just wish we had more people in this world who didn't kowtow to this, that, and the other. And, for that, I give Trump credit, but then again, I turn around and say, no way, dude, we're not doing this shit. And also, I'm still pissed the fact that I had to pay those tariffs for my soccer kits to show up, my football jerseys, my football kits. You talk about, I ordered that one from South America, and it was $130, and they say it'll be $100 in tariffs. I'm like, you son of a bitch, Trump, I fucking hate you. But that's where we're at. This is the conundrum, right? I'm being fair. Like, he's good here, he's bad here. It's just reality. But let's get to as many comments as possible. I don't know, Kevin, look, listen. Again, we're not going to do that game because I don't believe that. I don't want to throw that out there on anybody because, unless you have exact, perfect proof. Come on, man. I mean, again, someone could watch the stream tonight and say Weber's racist. He doesn't want to see the Peter Nyong'o in Odyssey. No, I just went through all this. I explained why. Do you understand? Don't do that. So I don't want to. No, let's just lay off anything racist this, racist that. Let's just forget it. Fair thought, but I disagree. Iran has killed many Americans and they have waged war on you. Listen, again, Tochi, I appreciate it. And, I don't want to turn it into this. I'm just saying, I don't want to have to get into another country and open up the can of worms that we have in the past, and you go back to Vietnam. I just can't. I just don't want to do any more of this, short of we're getting invaded and we have to push back. It's not what we're doing tonight, but you know what I'm saying, right? And they can tell you all they want. We're doing it for oil. We're doing it for this. We're doing okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. But the point is I just want to make sure. I say this all the time, man. Can't we just keep our country safe? Can't we just take control of what we're doing? Oh, but the geopolitics. Oh, fuck. Okay. Yeah, I got it. But the point is that I think the average American's with me on that. We don't want to do this anymore. Stop. Okay. Especially when you're sending young kids overseas to lose their lives for what? At the end of the day, we talked during COVID how often, every life is precious, but now let's just send off a bunch of soldiers and get them blown away, right? I mean, wait a second. What happened to if we can save one life? It's just so, right? I mean, you guys got to see the whole thing. And I think, again, when you talk about how I think, how I view things, I think it's fair, right? I'm always trying to balance it. Am I too far this way? Let's go back this way. Let's try to get this right. And that's not saying, you guys know I take a very strong stance, but I got to make sure that when I go there, I feel like it was a reasoned response and that I believe that it is an educated response, and I think that's important. But back to Nolan. Let's get back to that. I just don't want to see anyone have to bow to, you've got to include this, or this, or we're not making your movie, or this is not going to happen. No, we're not. I am, as you can see, I'm not an issue. I'm not going to play that game. It's not happening. I think the issue is that Nolan's aiming for a very grounded, realistic adaptation, and because of that, everything can end up feeling a bit bland. Maybe so. I mean, again, I don't know. We haven't seen the film. I'm not going to go into it thinking, oh, Lupita Nyong'o is Helen, therefore it's going to be bad. You guys know I don't do that. Now, that said, If I see it, I think it's an issue. It feels like it's forced. That's different. Of course, I'm going to bring that up. We talk about that all the time. You have to be able to admit that and see that and, not be afraid to say it. I think that's the other thing. I've said this before on films that are directed by an African-American, but that is directed by a woman. You're going to get attacked because they're like, you hate this film because it's directed by a black man. No, first of all, that's never happened. And then when I love a film directed by a black woman, like a Bone Temple, what? What are we doing there? You see, that's the problem. That's why the whole racist thing is garbage. Because you go, wait a second, that's the thing is, I love when I hammer a film directed by a woman and they go, you hated it. And I go, wait a second, what about St. Maud? What about After Sun? What about Bone Temple? What about all these films directed by women, Nomadland? I'm a big Chloe Zhao, go back to the writer. What are you talking about? So it's always about merit. It's not about the sex or the race of the director. It never enters in. If I ever on any evaluation here on MMT, if I ever say this is a great film because it's directed by a black male, I expect you to come in and just like fire shit at me, like this is the garbage shit I've ever heard. Like, just get out of here. Like, I would love it. Yes, I'll do my best. It's off the side. I can do what I want. But at the end of the day, I can't stand the accusation of listen, man, you're racist because this and that. Zendaya plays Athena in the Odyssey. Well, maybe, I don't know. I mean, Zendaya. Listen, I don't hate Zendaya. Does she play virtually the same character? Who doesn't, guys? Who doesn't? Name an actor. Name an actor who is a total chameleon. Essentially, unless you're changing your physical look in every film, right? You gain you talk about a Christian Bale putting on a bunch of weight, losing a bunch of weight, right? Whatever it is. That's different. Then I think you can kind of inhabit a different character. But if you're like George Clooney, who shows up every time with the salt and pepper hair, and here I am, he's the same guy in every movie. I like George Clooney. I love a Michael Clayton. I love an Up in the Air. Okay, but if you're going to level accusation against Zendaya, she does the same thing. What are we talking about? So does everyone else. Brad Pitt does. They all do. They all have their crutch. They all do their thing. Watch a billion streams from me. Every stream I go off on some tangent. Every team I go off on being merit-based. We all have our things that we keep going back to. As an actor, obviously, you don't want to. You want to try to create a new character every time. The reality is we're people. We're humans. We are who we are. And you're going to inject who that is. The best actors are able to take their life experiences and then place them into the character so that you get that four-dimensional character. We're going to talk about a movie here momentarily in just a second. It's called Omaha. I really like it. Small film, but listen, the grounded characters, the kind of stuff I want to watch. And you look at John Magaro, who's in that film. In a minute, here it comes. But I guarantee he's taking pieces, right? Every actor takes stuff from their lives. And then you say, okay, let me insert this. This is how I felt here. I had loss of this. It might not be the loss that you're dealing with in the movie, but I lost this. And I remember that feeling. Let me see if I can regenerate that. Can I relive that? And the most authentic actors are able to tap into that and to recreate that emotion of that moment. For me, it's funny. I don't know how many of you do this. When you're listening to a song that you really are emotional about and you hadn't heard it in a while, all of a sudden you can just kind of feel like a time capsule, like you're back in that time and you're like, oh my God, I remember when I was going through that and this song and this and that. Music really does that. Movies, and probably to a lesser extent, but still you remember where you were when you saw something. I think music really transports you. But if you can do that, if you can just take those experiences from life and then transfer them into your character, those are the best actors, right? 100%. Sydney Sweeney's A Smoke Show. Listen, I agree. She's totally smoky. It's just fucking hot. But at the same time, we've got to move on. Let's get ready. We'll come back. We got a bunch of stuff tonight, but I want to get to this evaluation because it's a film that I really like, and I want you to seek it out. This is what we do. You talk about what I love to do here on MMT. I love to promote films that, you maybe haven't heard of, and then obviously that I like. I'm not going to come on here and tell you to go see a film you haven't heard of because it's a small film you haven't heard of. That's not going to work. So here's the deal. We're going to talk about a film right now called Omaha. From Greenwich Pictures. You talk about a small studio, small distributor. But here it is, John Magaro, and it's a story of grief, loss, and moving on, and what an ending. Here comes a taste of tonight's MMT. It is time for Omaha here on Sunday night.
Oh, come on. I need you to wake up now.
What time is it?
I know it's early, sweetheart, but we gotta go. We're gonna go on a trip.
Come here, boy. Where are we going?
Pretend that there is a fire in the house and we have to get out as quick as we could. What would you take with you?
The picture of Mom. Did Dad say where we were going? I think we're going to Disneyland.
Get a real good taste of this film in the first 30 seconds of this trailer, right? I mean, it's a beautiful film, and as a father myself, it's difficult to watch this. I'm not going to lie. When I was watching this film, I was a little bit, moved certainly throughout the entire thing. But I think when you talk about an Omaha and you look at what you're getting, how many times I've talked about what I love when I go to the movies. I want to see intimate, grounded cinema. I don't get it all the time. It's rare, right? You just don't get that. Obviously, in a Mortal Kombat, in a Devil Wears Prada, in a Michael, sort of. But, I love small films. You go back to a film I just mentioned moments ago, an After Sun. Very similar in feel. You're talking about an indie film with a tiny budget, with a John McGarl you've seen before in past lives and many other films. A real talented actor. Nice to see here as the father. But, a father dealing with grief, kids, as you can see there in the very beginning. What I love about this film also, and you saw it there in the trailer, is that they never fully say mom died, right? As a writer, remember this. If you're going to have something happen, do it, skirt the edges, have a picture, and then that's it. No one says anything. Right there, he says, what do you want to take out of the house before we leave? I want to take a picture of mom. Right then, she's gone, okay? I don't need to say, it's a shame that mom died. That's the difference between good writing and bad writing. You just show it. You don't have to say it, right? Show, don't tell. And I think that goes a long way, and this film does that many times. And I think that's important if you're writing something, to remember that you don't need to bash people over the head with stuff. They can get it. And I think you talk about these younger kids these days, they have to have things spelled out for them. Too bad. Make them sit through a film like an Omaha that comes in at 125, a tight runtime. You can't beat that, right? 125? That's where we're trying to be on any film, especially a small film like this. You don't want to get to a film, like this, that's 2 hours and 25 minutes. That's a testament to this director, who was able to get this thing really lean. And the performances are fantastic. Magaro as the father. You got two young kids. The little girl in this, as I bring up the IMDb, she's really great. And also the kid, a daughter and son. Molly Bell Wright is the daughter, and the kid is Wyatt Solis. By the way, when the movie ended yesterday, I was at the AMC 8. The kid's in the movie. He's in the movie with me. He was 2 rows up, because we live here in LA where all the actors are, right? And I'm like, why is this completely sold out? It's 40 seats, but either way, it was completely packed. And then I noticed everyone seemed to be talking. I'm like, what's going on here? It was like a private screen, essentially, that I snuck a seat into, and it was the kid from the movie. He was showing off his film. He did a good job. Nice job, buddy. And I'll tell you what I like about it, too, is that the ending is absolutely devastating. And here's the thing, right? You kind of know where the ending's going, but I think you're going to be a little surprised with exactly where it goes. And, you can take your guesses here. You're saying to yourself, listen, I don't want to spoil anything. This is a small film that I'm really high on. I give it a 90%. It's one of the best films of the year. And the only note I have for it that I wish it would have done a little bit more is write some of the scenes on this road trip to Omaha just a little bit more in depth, rather than we go into the convenience store and just kind of basic stuff. I would just flesh it out a little bit in the screenplay, make it a little bit richer there. But the ending, wallop. I mean, you will be like, wow, I just got a gut punch. This is something. And you'll see what I'm saying when you watch it. Just give it a second. Wait till the final thing comes up on the screen. You'll be like, whoa, that's what we're trying to do here. Omaha, big recommendation here from MMT. Check it out. It is in select theaters right now from Greenwich Entertainment, one of the smaller studios out there. And again, these are the kind of films that I really want to make sure that I get out to see, and then get out and promote, because I believe in them. I'm not going to promote these things that I'm not a big fan on, because why would I? That would be disingenuous. I only discuss and love the things I love. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to go see something I didn't fully believe in, because that's how I operate, and to the detriment of myself. Listen, guys, you don't understand. Could I come on here and be a shill? Could I come on here and say the things you want me to say? Could I do that? Yes, of course I could. But guess what? That's not who I am. I do a stream that is authentic. that I don't even know myself sometimes where we're going to go. In fact, a lot of times, but yet I believe is as real as possible. And I don't think there's anyone else in the space that can even touch us. That's why we're the gold standard. You guys know that. I don't need to say it again, but you know what? I'll just make sure you see it. Let me find it. Here it is. I always have it ready. We're the gold standard. Okay, guys, let's watch a trailer together, and then I'll get to some comments because I've been talking for a long time. Here we go. This is a live trailer reacts. This is Evil Dead Rise, or Evil Dead Burn, my bad. The first one I did not like, and I was not a fan of The Mummy, so I have a feeling I'm not going to like this, but we'll watch the trailer, and I'll react accordingly. Here comes Evil Dead Burn, and this is the full trailer. Just dropped the other day. Let's watch it.
Alice? What's wrong? What happened?
So it's interesting, right? Because Evil Dead was New Line Warner Brothers, right? Now it's Sony. How'd that happen? I got to look into that. Because it was a success. It made them a lot of money. Okay, well, we definitely have a red band. I didn't see the beginning. Red band trailer, everyone. Now I know for sure if I missed it at the beginning, and there it is. Wow. Okay. I kind of like that. I mean, it's already gave me too much, right? Oh, it's the headrest. Very nice. I actually like that.
We found you.
William, my sweet boy. I would give anything for us to be together again.
Just quickly, here's my problem with Evil Dead Rise, and same with this. It's not an Evil Dead film. Why? Because Evil Dead has that goofy humor. Bruce Campbell and all that. I go back, I remember watching that when he puts the chainsaw on his arm, right? God, which one was that? Evil Dead 2? What a film. It's just wacky. Just kind of just loony, slapsticky. This film has none of that. First one doesn't look like this one does either.
Our grandfather believed.
So heavy. And same thing with The Mummy. So heavy. Fine. I get it. I like heavy horror, but not Evil Dead. Evil Dead's got to have a sense of playfulness a little bit. It just doesn't. The first one didn't. Sort of did. Mommy's with the maggots now. I hated that movie.
The devil would return. If anyone read from the Book of the Dead.
Cool down.
Obviously, there's your Evil Dead shot, right?
The whole family can be reunited.
I feel like visually he's a good director. I will say that. But not as a writer. Not Mummy, not Evil Dead. And maybe this time around, I don't know. I mean, but again, I'm missing kind of the goofiness to it. And the shticky. It's just not there. But it's okay. I'll see it, but I'm not looking forward to it. I think the other thing this dude needs to figure out, and he directed this, right? Tell me he did. Same dude. Who just did The Mummy. Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Oh, unbelievable. They called it that. I mean, but listen, it's made 4X on the budget, right? The budget was 22. It's at 86. I mean, I can't argue that that's success. That's money. Blumhouse and New Line have made money off that film. But you look at Evil Dead Burn, and it's just a film I'm not excited to see. What are we going to get out of it? Same shit we just got there. I hope he made it tight. That's what I was kind of getting to, is that Mummy's way too long. Evil Dead Rise, I believe, is pretty tight. But, on a film like this, it really needs to come in at 129. It needs to come in tight. I just don't don't need to keep going and going, and here comes another kill. No, just stop. Again, these directors need to be told no. That's too long. First note I'd have on virtually any screening, not a film like Omaha, because it's 127 or something. I would come out and say, got to lose 10 minutes. 10 minutes are gone. What do we want to do here? Which one do you want to go? Let's watch it again. Let's talk about what scene needs to be there and what doesn't, because we're losing 10 minutes, right? We're not having a discussion about this. You're going to lose 10 minutes. Like, this isn't up for debate. So where do you want to cut? Because I'm open, you can do whatever you want. I'll let you make the cuts, but we're cutting 10 minutes. Oh, but you can't tell. I'll tell directors exactly what to do because I know what I'm doing. If I didn't know what I'm doing, it's different. If I was some schmuck, like, go back to, what was that, Horrible Bosses, when you had, what's his name's character who was like, the son. If I'm someone like that who doesn't know what he's doing completely and useless, that's different. If I am the real deal, the gold standard, okay, nobody touches us, then I can come in and say, here's where you're cutting, you're getting rid of this, this, and this. Got it? We're good? Good. Goodbye. I'm out. I'm going to the other room. I got other things to do. That's how you handle it, right? Bang, 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 right? Almost like Kevin Spacey's character in Swimming with Sharks, but not as big of a douche. But this, you got to almost be a douche. You talk about a Trump. You talk about what you talk. You have to just be like, here's what we're doing. You're doing it, end discussion. Especially Lee Cronin. Lee Cronin, you're not telling me what to do. You're fucking Lee Cronin. Who gives a shit? You're nobody. I would actually probably say that in the room, which again is old school Hollywood. But I would do that and be like, Lee, dude, hole in the ground. I wasn't impressed in the first place. It's not that I think you're awful. I just am like, how did you end up here? You got to lose 10 minutes. You're Lee Cronin. You're not Nolan, or you're not. This is not happening. Let's get some comments here, and then maybe we'll watch another trailer and we're out of here. I promised an hour. We're at 50 minutes. This is what happens when we are done with the final girl. Yeah, it always is. These things are just tropey, right? They really are. That's mine. If anyone wants to steal it, too bad. You can't. Too late. I already said it's tropey. I'm sure I'm not the first person that said that, but I feel like I might be. I'm so tired of these things where you just get the same basic skeletal outline and here's your film, and this guy dies, we know who's probably going to make it. Yeah, it's always fun when someone you didn't expect bites it early. That's cool. It hasn't happened often where someone, you're like, oh, this is someone who's a candidate to be the final whoever, and they're like, what, they just got killed. That's where I go, nice writing, right? It's an awesome horror film. You haven't seen Cabin in the Woods. What a brilliant film, right? That's brilliant. Okay, this is not going to be this. It's just not. The writing on Cabin in the Woods is insane. When we actually get to, you talk about films that the initial. When I was watching it, I was blown away by the decisions creatively. You talk about A Cabin in the Woods. I was blown away by an X. Just some of the decisions creatively. You go back to that plane of the Fleetwood Mac, right? And you got the split screen. Dude, that shit's good. He nailed X. X was unbelievable. It's the best of the three. And then you find up with Maxine. Like, what in the fuck are you doing? I've never, listen, we talked about this before. If you haven't seen Maxine, you've seen X. Maybe you saw Pearl. If you haven't seen Maxine, if you want to see how to actively destroy an entire trilogy with one film, you watch Maxine. It starts off, and then you get the gumshoe shit running around with Kevin Bacon shit. Boy, that's bad. Boy, it's really bad. It is some shit. I'm telling you right now, if I was in the middle of watching Maxine with Ty West, like I'm at A24, fuck A24, by the way. Guys, I haven't said this enough. A24, you're not all that. I've said it so many times before. I need you guys to understand. I know you guys watch from time to time. You're not all that. And the fact that you let Ty West make Maxine without telling him what the fuck, that just tells me you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like, how does that even happen? How do you get to the second half of Maxine and not go, oh my fucking God, what are you, dude? What are you fucking doing, Ty? I don't know what's happening, but I'm going to pretend I didn't see this shit. Like, I'm going to pretend that what I'm watching didn't happen, and I want you to reshoot the back end. I want everything reshot. Everything post what I got to watch it again. But it's a certain point. Well, first of all, I get rid of all the chasing around the fucking lot. That's terrible. Then you get to the father and you get to the poorly written Tarantino shit at the end. It's bad. It's fucking bad. But the fact A24 is like, you're so great, Ty. Just release this how it is. Nobody has the balls. That's the thing about A24. Let's just say this, and I've said it before. I'm doing it again tonight. A24 is a company I've never seen any entity in the entire universe. I don't care if it's film. I don't care if it's fucking cars. that doesn't have someone who will say, this is bad. We can't do this. Like, there's nobody at A24 who's ever stepped up to a director and said, this doesn't work. It's never happened. Like, it has. If it has, they probably fucked it up the other way. I heard Green Knight was actually a cool film until they went in there and did some things. So if A24 is going to get involved, I'd actually advise you to do the opposite. If you're a director, if A24 does this, do the opposite. So what if they say it's great, think your film has problems, because there's times when you watch something and you're like, what are you doing? And it gets back to, like, A24 is kind of like a think tank. It's not one person. It's a collective hive mind bullshit enterprise. And let me tell you something. Hive mind bullshit is not the way to get things done. You got to have someone like the gold standard in there saying, this shit isn't good. Go back and reshoot it. It's out of here. Get out of my office. Like, I mean, I'm dead serious. And not like being like rude, like you're the worst person in the world. Just say, this isn't good. You got to go back and rewrite it. Out. We're done. This isn't a discussion. You got to almost just like be really kind of just really firm and just, this is it. Bang, end of discussion. And we just don't do that, right? Instead, A24 is like, well, you're so great. And what do you think, Marjorie? Well, I think it's pretty good too. What do you think, Ken? Well, you know, look, it's really great. I mean, we love, you guys seen that, right? How many times you seen this in any film? Go back and look at the studio when everybody's like, oh, you're so wonderful. Everyone's ass kissing. Fuck that shit. Say, listen, you know, I remember going to see Uncut Gems. When I saw it up at the Ross House here in Los Angeles, they invited me when I was going to those screenings. Now I don't want to go. A24, first of all, would never fucking invite me because they'd see me and go, this motherfucker. I'd be like, listen, you guys, I'm the fucking real deal. You're the problem, not me. If you had me, you'd be better. You'd be making great films every time. Say, we're not putting this out. Like, go back to the front room. None of you sound, if you want to watch some shit, I dare you to put on the front room from A24. I will pay you. I will send 1 penny to everybody who watches the front room and comes back on Thursday when we do our evaluation of maybe Obsession. I don't know what we're going to do Thursday. Probably that. Here's the deal. Watch the front room and you tell me how the fuck A24 made that film and said, let's put it out. Just good luck. Good luck. That alone is firing. Like, I'm talking multiple people. The fact that got through all these gates at A24 and wasn't like thrown in the trash, what's happening? Because remember, A24 wanted to, let's curry the favor of the great, overrated, one of the most overrated directors of all time in Robert Eggers. You talk about one of the elite overrated directors. I don't know if you can name someone more than Robert Eggers. Okay. Oh, but look at the most sterile, non-emotional films. I'm telling you what, I think, I've told you before, I think that Eggers has to be a Satanist or something because his films have no humanity. Like, he's definitely not a Christian. You know, again, I'm not saying he have to be. He doesn't believe in God. No, you don't see it. The films have no fucking soul. They are literally sterile pieces of shit. His films, 100%. And I, by the way, Focus, when I called Nosferatu that, Focus said, we're done with you. A24 definitely is done because they are currying the favor of Eggers. They said, let's let the brothers, what the fuck, this? No way. Robert Eggers' brothers have zero talent. I mean, that's being kind. Zero. I mean, I've never seen something as awful. If I made the front room, I would expect to never talk to anybody in this town again. I'd be like, you made the front, oh my fucking God, you made the front room. Oh, you would be like, I'm just going to not have any discussions with anybody ever again and pretend that didn't happen. No, too late. You already made it. It's done. You're done. Like I always say, go back to Drive. When Shannon gets his wrist slit, it's over. Albert Brooks is like, it's done. Don't struggle. It's over. You're done. You made the front room. Okay. I know this is what we do. If you've never seen it, this is how we operate and no one can copy it. When AI tries to come for MMT, they will be denied because AI would be like, what the fuck is this shit? I don't even know what's going on. How's this? I don't even know where we're headed. Go back to Collateral. The best line ever, right? Tom Cruise in the back with Jamie Foxx and he's like, hey, you should be excited. You don't know where you're going to be in 10 minutes. Okay. Why are you not, right? I'm just, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I love it. I've seen it multiple times. But you go back, remember him? He's like, dude, why are you not enjoying this? We're going around LA whacking people. You don't know where you're going to be in 10 minutes. That's exciting. And in a way, he's right? He's like, how many people live a life like that? You typically are like, I'm doing this every day. I'm doing that. And the fact that we have that's what you get here. Thank you. Backrooms is going to be big. I mean, Clearly, you're talking about a film. A24, listen, even if the film's bad, it's still going to make a ton of money because there's so much of a built-in hype for that. A24 is a brand that is trying to become everything, right? In New York, they have their little club or their little restaurant or their little, and I've got to have, it's a cult. A24 is a fucking cult. And here's the thing: is like an A24 film, we didn't hate the drama. There's issues with it. We've discussed that. Go back and watch the evaluation. But A24 is a cult, and Neon's a cult, and I don't play cult. I'm not in a cult. I'll never be in a cult. I will say this is good, this is bad. We're never going to play that game. David Koresh would have a real problem with me. It is what it is. And we're not going to have a cult here. I mean, I'm going to tell you're wrong if you say like a film like The Front Room is good. I'm really going to have a problem with that. Or if you say Beau is Afraid, if you say Babylon, if you say Poor Things, if you say how many other films, right? But you talk about Everything Everywhere. You talk about, I'm on Nora. I'm going to definitely push back really hard. But, you don't have to. I'm not saying you have to. You just don't agree. You don't have to watch. It's fine. I'm not trying to. At the end of the day, this channel, as you guys know, when I started it, it was never about like, oh, I got to get all these views, I get all these subs, I don't give a fuck. I really don't. It's like I come on here and shoot for an hour and it's over. I don't go back and relive it. It's done. And I don't re-edit shit. I'm lazy. Okay. We just do it live. I'm luckily able to do it live. There's a lot of people, I talk about this all the time. Listen, we're the gold standard for a reason. There's so many people in this space. Let's just be real. You guys know this. They couldn't do the stream. Even if they had to, you'd give them a shot. You give like a Robert Daniels. Good luck. Robert, I'd love to see you try to do something like this. You would fall flat on your fucking face because all you do is write 5,000 word think pieces. You couldn't even talk coherently for this long. It would be the most boring chin stroking shit you ever heard. That's the difference between what I do and what you do. You write for, I don't even know who. I talk to a person. I am communicating in a very, easy to understand way. And like I saw, many quotes, smart people are impressed with simplicity. And you look at like someone like a Robert Daniels, a Bill Jabiri, these people think that complexity, no, that's not how you do it. You want to make it simple. They don't. They want to look so learned, chin strokey. Go right for your circle jerk. You're really for nobody. Honestly, just know that. At the end of the day, there's no universe in which you're even in the same fucking world that I am when it comes to what I do. It's not even close, okay? So you can just keep writing your 5,000 word think pieces, but I can promise you this: no one cares. Okay, no one. You might think they do. You might have your mom watching. You might have whatever. I'm just telling you. I dare you. I would pay to watch Bill Jabiri try to do something like this. He would fall flat on his fucking face, just like he did as a director. Right? He was a director who failed, and he's like, now I'm going to write reviews. And listen, listen. I'm not saying. Listen, I love the fact that you tried as a director, but now you're writing reviews, and you weren't a director, and it's unfortunate. You're not good at that, and apparently you weren't good as a director, so it's kind of like, I don't know what you are good at, even though you've been told you're great because you write for Vulture and New Yorker. I'm explaining something, Bilge, you're not. You're extremely uninteresting. You've never written something that is anything other than for your pretentious circle jerk of other critics, and that's fine. God bless you for that, but I just want you to know that we know that. I certainly know that, and I'm not going to pretend. I'd love to be in New York and tell you that. I would love to walk into New York critic. I bet you guys are all fucking jokes. You know that, right? You were fucking jokes. They think I'm the joke. You're the fucking joke. You can't fucking hang with what I do. You can't even hang with me for 5 seconds. It's not even a game. Not a game. At the end of the day, you guys don't even know. You know that. That's the funny thing is you fucking know it. And I know it too. So you just move along. Go write your 5,000 word think pieces nobody gives a fuck about. All right. Let's get to some comments here. Speaking of small grounded films, a time period shift between Blue Heron. Thank you. Yes, Johnny. Thank you for bringing that back here. When you talk about, let's do the comment blast closeout here. We're over an hour. This is where I wrap up with some comments here, and I'll play a track, and we're out. You look at Blue Heron. If you haven't seen that film, another very small film here in the same kind of vein, right, as an Omaha, but Blue Heron, about halfway through it feels very straightforward, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, that's what I love. Anytime a film is able to do that and really make me surprised and then make it so much more invigorating and interesting to watch. And that's exactly what Blue Heron does. I'm glad you watched it, Johnny, and you saw exactly the same film. It's exactly right. And again, Backrooms, big Steve, I appreciate the super chat, no question about it. I appreciate. No, you got it 3 times. I owe you $10, buddy. I owe you Oh my God, yeah, it is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of you, except for the critics I just dragged. No, whatever, it's all good. But yeah, seriously, awesome. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed your Mother's Day. But I'll get to as many comments. I just did a bunch of super chats. Let's do as many as possible. Let me see what I got here for the track tonight. It's Jerome Isma A's remix of Dive On. I like Jerome Isma A. He's the remixer on this. You guys know I used to be DJ Webslinger in Columbus. Yeah, baby. DJ Webslinger coming to the decks here on the Techniques 1200s. Boom, boom. You had to have one ear here, right? You're listening to one of the pieces. You got 2 different turntables. On one turntable, you've got what's going on in the background. On the other turntable, I'm listening in one ear to what's going on here. And then I'm going to drop this on the beat. Boom, bam, boom. So it hits, and then it mixes, and then you're going to fade in and out so that it's seamless. So you're going from one track to the other. That's what I used to do as DJ Webslinger. Anybody who knows me in Columbus, Ohio by that time knows that I was like the badass mixer. Like, this shit was clean. We'd go from spoopy to DOP back to what the fuck else was going on in the early 90s, all the rave shit. James Brown is dead. Did all that fun stuff. All right, more comments. Thank you. Steve, stop, Steve. Thank you. Appreciate it. I just think that, I know Weber's promoting his shit again, but it's true. I just don't think there's anybody who could even attempt to do what I do. I just do. I think that's fair. I think you guys know that too. And, listen, you can go watch whatever you want. Go watch any streamer. It doesn't matter. I think at the end of the day, we bring not only knowledge and content, entertainment value, cool songs that instantly get me demonetized. That's the thing that makes me better than virtually anybody else in the space is I'm playing stuff in videos and stuff. Every time I do like a song, that I play a trailer, but the entire stream is demonetized. What does that mean? That means I can't make money off the ads. But again, this channel wasn't created for that. This channel was created for me to make a version of the Riddler's channel in the Batman. If you saw that with Matt Reeves. By the way, quickly on that, Matt Reeves is showing off his new, I forgot to get this, I've got it up. Matt Reeves is showing off his brand new snow tires on the Batmobile. Let's find the picture. I'm glad I remember. God, thank you, Weber, for being on top of it. Here are the snow tires. Honestly, I was playing ball. Oh, I forgot one more thing I'll tell you guys. Hold on, I got one more thing before I go. There's the snow tires on the Batmobile, the aesthetic of that car, right? He nailed it. I mean, he really did. Matt Reeves, and by the way, Matt Reeves at one time did follow me. Let's see if he still does. Give me a second. Let's hit it. I don't know if he does anymore. Let's find out. He does. He still does. You guys see that? Matt Reeves still follows me. So there's a chance that Matt Reeves is watching tonight. I don't know. I'm just saying. Let's put it this way. If he's on X, he could be watching MMT because he's got it. I want to say this before I forget. Look here. This is an awesome pizza place I went to today. It's called Secret Pizza. Hold on. Let me get it over here. Let me make this bigger. Give me a second. Hold on. I got to push this. Is that it? No, that's not it. This is it. No, that's not it. That's not it. Oh, this is terrible. All right, here you go. Look, here's the box. It says Secret Pizza. So check this out. This place is in the weirdest area of LA. It's like in East LA, an area that you really, I don't know, dude. Let's put it this way. I wasn't feeling 100% safe going there, but I went, and this pizza is unbelievable. So if you live in the Los Angeles area and you want to have a real New York pizza, right? The crust was chewy and also crunchy, not too much cheese. Sauce had a nice tangy, salty but not too salty. This is the shit. Secret Pizza, everybody. Secret Pizza. And I didn't get paid for this. They didn't give me the pizza free because this is how we operate. If I like something, I'm going to advertise for it. If I don't, I don't. And there's your advertisement for Secret Pizza. Thank you. Get out of here, box. All right, guys. We're just about out of here. This is exactly how I operate. That Batman car is amazing, Jay. I know, right? Coachy, it really is. It's great stuff. It's hard to find. And it's, by the way, LA Times rated it the #1 pizza in LA. So I go, let's go find it. But it's called Secret Pizza, just quickly on that, because The dude was making pizza out of his apartment during COVID, and everyone was so like enamored with it and like, this is the best pizza ever, that he actually got a shop, and now it is the place. Like, you have to put your order in early. You got to show up. Like, we showed up to pick up the pizza, and there was like 20 people sitting around in the courtyard waiting for theirs. Like, it's the total hangout. It's just in a really weird area of East LA, which is not an area most people like venture into. Let's just put it that way. That's just what it is. And I was like, where am I going and what the fuck? And I got to this place and I go, this pizza's good, man. This pizza's really good. If it weren't so far out of the way, then I would go get Secret Pizza again. But I'm not saying I won't. I'm just saying if it was in Burbank, I would be at Secret Pizza all the time, because Burbank has decent pizza, not great. We had a place called Weirdos we tried the other day, not great. Secret Pizza buries Weirdos. Like, berries. And by the way, I'm not getting paid. No one's giving me free pizza. And if they gave me a free pizza, they'd still have to earn the right? It's how it works here at MMT. All right, guys, I got one song I want to play before I get out of here, because I really am a fan of this song. I'm going to play it, and I'm going to just put the graphic up to close it out. It's from a dude I think is extremely talented. His name is Jack Willard. And he gave a song to us last year that I really loved called Everything All at Once. And this is his follow-up. And I think it's a great track to end with. It's a light track, and I mean that, not just in the title, but it just has a good humanity to it, which is what we're always looking for here. Thanks for being here on this Sunday night. We're back on Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your week. MMT is off the air.
Shadows as you run.